Assalamualaikum and hi. We are from Group 1. We will present about the segment reporting and interim report of IHH Healthcare Berhad. This group consists of 5 members: Muhammad Nur Hakim, Amira Adriana, Najwa Kisina, Nur Farhana and Nur Batrisha Naili. We will start with part A, which is segmental reporting.
And I am Amira Adriana will present to you about the background of the company. IHH Healthcare Berhad is an international private healthcare group and was founded in 1974. IHH focuses on upmarket healthcare services that offering a full spectrum of integrated healthcare services from clinics, hospitals to specialty care and medical services. IHH Berhad is a group listed on Bursa Malaysia and Singapore Exchange. IHH Healthcare Berhad is the largest private healthcare group in Asia and is headquartered in Kuala Lumpur. The group has a wide geographical footprint across Malaysia, Singapore, Turkey, India, Greater China and across Asia and Central and Eastern Europe. IHH is one of the world's largest healthcare networks and is said to have over 65 employees in 80 hospitals in 10 countries. Among IHH subsidiaries are Pantai Holdings, Parkway Holdings, Parkway Life Rate and Fortis. And that's all from me. I will pass to Farhana to present next part.
My name is Nur Farhana binti Abdullah. There are 4 factors to consider having a segment reporting. First, nature of the products or services. Since IHH Healthcare is an investment holding company who is engaged with healthcare services, so they provide high quality healthcare services to their customers. Other than that, they also operate hospital, clinic, laboratory, rehab, and medical education across many countries, including Malaysia, Singapore, Turkey, India, and China. Second factor is nature of the production processes. Due to healthcare services network, IHH Healthcare Berhad provide extensive range of services, which includes quaternary care, tertiary care, secondary care, and ancillary services. Because of their continuous investment in advanced medical technology and cutting-edge equipment, it has enhanced their ability to provide comprehensive treatments in many specialties, which are ophthalmology, neurosurgery, cardiology, and others. Not only medical services, they also provide medical education to train nurses, doctors, and healthcare sectors professionals. Third factor is types of the customers. Types of customers that being affected is based on their income. The income which is from medium to high income are being the customers of IHH Healthcare. Due to company not entirely under government, the price offered for services slightly different compared to government healthcare services. Last factor is method to distribute the products or provide service. IHH Healthcare Service distribute their services by establishing many hospitals. There are 14 hospitals under IHH in Malaysia. One of them is Pantai Hospital Kuala Lumpur. Not only that, IHH also build medical center, clinics, and also healthcare business. I will pass the presentation to Najwa to present the types of segment.
Thank you so much, Farhana, for your clear explanation just now. Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Najwa Kisna binti Farid, and now I'm going to proceed with the types of segment. So first of all, an operating segment is a component of the group that engage in business activities from which it may earn revenues and incur expenses, including revenues and expenses that relate to transaction with any of the group's other components. So this operating segment may be business or geographical segment. Okay, for IHH Healthcare, they use both business and geographical segment. For business segment, the first one is hospital and healthcare. They provide healthcare service from primary to quaternary care, as well as they provide complementary ancillary service, which includes comprehensive diagnostic and analytical laboratory testing. The next one is IMU Health, which provide the education service. They offered a quality education in health and medical science to train and develop nurses, doctors, allied healthcare professionals, and other medical and healthcare sector professionals. Therefore, their business also including the P-Life real estate investment and management that includes the corporate office. The other one is the geographical segment, which comprise in Singapore, Malaysia, India, Greater China, Brunei, and Central and Eastern Europe CEE. And that's all for the types of segment. Let's continue to the next presenter.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Badrushamali bin Nasir. So today I am going to continue with the presentation on Chief of Decision Making, CODM. So what is CODM? CODM is a function and not necessarily a person. The function is to allocate resources to and assess the performance of the operating segments. So those who are appointed to be the CODM are responsible for making strategic decisions about the entity segments. In this case, CODM for IHH Healthcare Berhad is the board of directors. So these are the board of directors of IHH Healthcare Berhad, and they are being conducted by Yang Berbahagia Tan Sri Muhammad Azam bin Hashim. So these are the responsibilities of CODM. The first one is to lead and manage the company effectively and responsibly. Next is to review and adopt the strategic plan for the group. And they are also in charge in succession planning, including appointing, training, fixing the compensation of, and where appropriate, replacing the key management. Besides, they are also responsible to oversee the conduct of the group businesses to evaluate whether the businesses are being properly managed or not. Last but not least, they need to identify the principal risks and ensure the implementation of appropriate systems to manage this risk. Next, I will pass it to Hakim to continue with his presentation.
Thank you, Naili. Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Nur Hakim bin Ghazali and I represent my PAC. There are three options to identify a reportable segment. First, by revenue, where it's reported revenues from sales to external customers and intersegment sales is 10% or more of the combined revenues, which is internal and external, of all operating segments. Next, by profits, where the absolute amount of the segment's reported profit or loss is 10% or more of the greater of the combined reported profit of all segments reporting profits, or the combined loss of all segments reporting losses. Lastly, by assets, where the segment assets are 10% or more of the assets of all operating segments. 10% test is conducted by using total revenues as the basis of the 10% test shown in the table. After we conducted the 10% test, there are 5 reportable segments which consist of Singapore with 24.10%, Malaysia with 12.76%, India with 17.44%, PPL others with 11.76%, and Acibadem Holdings CEE with 20.34%. Other than that, there are 4 non-reportable segments which consist of Greater China with 4.1%, IMU Health Malaysia with 1.22%, P-Life Rate with 1.73%, and others with 6.54%. After determining the reportable segments, the entity should ensure that the total external revenue attributable to those reportable segments is at least 75% of the entity's total revenue. When the 75% threshold is not met, additional reportable segments should be identified, even if they do not meet the 10% thresholds, until at least 75 of the entity's total external revenue is included in its reportable segments. The combination of the reportable segment resulted to only 74.11% of total external sales. Therefore, the additional segment, which is Others, and Greater China segment, which is the highest external revenue, shall be included and identified as a reportable segment since it resulted the combination of external sales exceeds 75%, which 78.23%. So, in this table are the new segmental report that have been adjusted. And I pass this presentation to the next presenter, Amira.
And now it comes to conclusion of segment reporting, and I will start explain to you the advantages of segment reporting. For the advantages, first and foremost, transparency and better insight. Transparency is one of the important advantages for segment reporting. Complete information is necessary for analysis, potential investors, and other stakeholders to assess a company's viability and development and track the performance of its management. Next, better predictor of profitability. Segment reporting makes it easier for the users of financial statement to forecast an organization's future profitability, particularly when segments are engaged in a variety of activities. And lastly, improve context. Stakeholders can have a better understanding of the variances that could impact overall figures by using segment reporting. Segment reporting reveals where the earnings are coming from. For instance, if a company announces much more earnings than anticipated. And I'll pass to Najwa to present the disadvantages of segmental reporting.
Thank you so much, Amira. Now I will proceed with the disadvantages of segment reporting. So first one is misinterpretation problem. In case of inclusion of inter-segment transfer of sales, it leads to misinterpretation by user groups if the segment sales figures are larger than the consolidated sales figures. Along with the sales number, determining segment expenses also poses a challenge. However, it is quite simple to identify a segment's traceable cost, which is the actual challenge is identifying the segment's portion of a common cost that was incurred on two or more segments. The next one is managerial conservatism. Voluntary disclosure are likely to be seen by managers as advantageous only under specific circumstances in the absence of statutory regulation requiring the publication of segment reports. For instance, the management will create segment reports when they think the company's appeal may be improved. And the last one is allocation problem. Any corporate organization that deals with more than one product costs that apply to two or more goods will certainly exist. Legal fees and general administrative costs are examples of joint costs. When segment reporting is being done, the allocation of these shared expenses becomes a challenging task. However, there are some common costs that can be allocated on a reasonable basis, such as electricity charges that can be allocated based on the number of light points in a specific segment. On the other hand, there are some common costs such as a director's salary that can only be allocated on a random basis. And that's the end for part A, which is segmental reporting. Now we will continue to the part B, which will be started with Hakim.
Right. Now, I will explain the basis of preparation of the interim report. There are two types of view in the basis of preparation of the interim report, which consists of discrete method, where the interim period is a separate period and the reports are prepared on a periodic basis. Next, integral method, where the interim report is fraction of the annual period and the amount will be calculated by annual values multiplied by a fraction of the reporting period. The consolidated interim financial reports are prepared in accordance with FAR570 interim financial reporting. They do not include all the information required for full annual financial statements. IHH Healthcare Berhad uses discrete method because the interim period is separate and the reports are prepared on a periodic basis.
Next, we move to accounting policies used in preparing the interim report. We have identified that IHH Healthcare Berhad has prepared the interim report based on the MFRS 116 and also MFRS 138. MFRS 116 Property, Plant and Equipment PPE are the tangible items that are held by an entity for use in the production or supply of goods or services, rental to others, or for administrative or maintenance purposes, and are expected to be used during more than one reporting period. Besides, PPE is recognized as asset when it is probable that future economic benefits associated with item will flow to the item and the cost can be measured reliably. PPE can be measured initially or subsequently, and the cost model and reversion model are part of subsequent measurements. We can see that IHH Healthcare Berhad has adopted cost model due to the deduction of depreciation and impairment on PPE in the interim report. FAR570 intangible assets are identifiable non-monetary assets that have no physical substance. Intangibles must have the qualities of identifiability, control, and future economic benefit. Next, an intangible is recognized when it meets the definition of an intangible asset and the recognition criteria of an asset. An asset could have finite life or indefinite life. The depreciable amount of an intangible asset with a finite useful life should be amortized and indefinite life should not be amortized. We can conclude that IHH Healthcare Berhad has a finite useful life because there is an amortization on intangible assets shown in the report. Next, I will pass it to Farhana to continue.
The type of interim reports prepared by the company is quarterly report. The company report from the first quarter, which is on 1st January to 31st March. Second quarter is on 1st April to 30th June. Third quarter is on 1st July to 30th September. And fourth quarter is on 1st October to 31st December every year. Next, I will pass the presentation to Hakim.
Thank you, Farhana. Now I will present for period for the current and comparative of each statement prepared by the company. The current and comparative period for each statement prepared by the company according to MFRS 134 interim reporting will be measured from 1 October 2021 until 31st December 2021, which is the fourth quarter of IHH Healthcare Berhad in 2021. For the statement of financial position, statement of change in equity, statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, and statement of cash flows will have the same current period, which is 1st January 2021 until 31st December 2021, followed by the comparative date 1st January 2020 until 31st December 2020. For the statement of profit or loss and other comprehensive income, we have two statements which is for 3 months ending and 12 months ending. For the current period, 3 months ending is start with 1st October 2021 until 31st December 2021, followed by the comparative period start with 1st October 2020 until 31st December 2020. Now, I will pass this presentation to the next presenter, Amira.
Last but not least, there are two adjustments made by the company to be included in the interim report. And I would like to present to you the first adjustment about impairment loss. The following information was extracted from IHH Healthcare Berhad for the second quarter ending 30th June 2022. The cost of property, plant and equipment as at 30th June 2022 is 11.926741 billion ringgit, and depreciation for the 6 months ended 30th June 2022 is 491.096 million ringgit. On 30th June 2022, one of the lands owned by IHH Healthcare Berhad was damaged by fire and partially damaged. Hence, IHH decided to conduct an impairment test for the land. The land was purchased in 2018 at a cost of 11.8 million ringgit. On 30th June 2022, the net sales of the land was 11 million and the value in use of the land was 10.05 billion ringgit. Therefore, the net realizable value is the higher value between value in use and net sales value. Thus, net realizable value is 11 million ringgit. To impairment loss, we need to minus cost of land with net realizable value. Therefore, we got 80,000 ringgit. And here is the extract of the statement of financial position before and after adjustment after we take into account of impairment loss. And I will pass to Najwa Christina to present the second adjustment.
Thank you, Amira. Now I will explain the second adjustment that were made by the company. So the gross amount of account receivable as at 30 June 2022 is 153,770,000. On 80 June 2022, it is estimated that 17,151,000 cannot be collected by the end of 30 June 2022. It means that the net amount of trade receivable to be reported is 136,629,000. And to show you clearly before and after the adjustment, here is the full statement of the financial position as at 30 June 2022. And that's all from us. Thank you so much for lending us your ears, and Assalamualaikum.